break down the food into a semi-liquid form called chyme. This 3D animation provides a detailed view of the chest anatomy, starting with the rib cage and lungs. As we zoom in, the heart is highlighted showing vest.
3D
labels identify key structures for educational clarity.
Starting with the rib cage and lungs. As we zoom in, the heart is highlighted showing vest. 3D labels identify key structures for educational clarity. Starting with the rib cage and lungs. As we zoom in, the heart is highlighted showing vest. 3D labels identify.
Starting to jog, the body responds immediately. Zooming into the heart, its contractions quicken. Blood flow speeds up, delivering more oxygen to meet the increased demand. Zooming into the heart, as the lungs expand, oxygen is drawn into tiny air sacs called alveoli. Here, oxygen diffuses into the blood through capillaries binding to red blood cells. The heart pumps rapidly, increasing the heart rate. Arteries and veins glow, showing accelerated blood flow. This highlights the body's increased cardiac output. After exertion, the body slows down and the heart rate gradually decreases. As we zoom in, we see the heart's rhythm transition to a resting state. The beats become less intense, returning to a normal, resting rhythm.
क्या आपने कभी सोचा है, जब हम पानी में बर्फ डालते हैं तो वो नीचे क्यों नहीं डूबती? बारिश नहीं, विज्ञान। इस सवाल का जवाब छुपा है एक छोटे से शब्द में। बारिश नहीं, घनत्व। विज्ञान यानी डेंसिटी। इस सवाल का जवाब छुपा है एक घनत्व का मतलब है किसी चीज के अंदर कितना पदार्थ यानी डेंसिटी। जितना ज्यादा भरा हुआ, सवाल का जवाब छुपा है एक घनत्व का मतलब है किसी चीज के अंदर कितना पदार्थ। अब सवाल है, क्या बर्फ का घनत्व पानी से कम है या ज्यादा? असल में बर्फ का घनत्व पानी से कम होता है, इसलिए वो डूबती नहीं, तैरती है। जब पानी जमता है तो उसके अणु यानी मॉलिक्यूल्स फैल जाते हैं, उनके बीच जगह बढ़ जाती है। जगह बढ़ने से आयतन बढ़ जाता है, लेकिन द्रव्यमान वही रहता है, इसीलिए घनत्व कम हो जाता है। कम घनत्व वाली चीज ज्यादा घनत्व वाली चीज पर तैरती है, यही विज्ञान का नियम है। इसी वजह से झीलों में ऊपर बर्फ जमती है, लेकिन नीचे पानी तरल रहता है, जिससे मछलियां जिंदा रहती हैं।
तो अगली बार जब आप ठंडा पानी पिए, याद रखिए बर्फ तैरती है क्योंकि उसका घनत्व कम होता है। विज्ञान हर जगह है। ठंडा पानी पिए, याद रखिए बर्फ तैरती है क्योंकि उसका घनत्व कम होता है। विज्ञान हर जगह ठंडा पानी पिए, याद रखिए बर्फ
actually produce over a liter in just one day.
Love the video? Then like this video, subscribe for weekly wow moments, hit the bell, and share it everywhere. Let's spread the science love. Babies cry a lot, but shaking one in anger can cause lifelong brain damage in seconds. Here's why it's so dangerous. Babies have weak neck muscles and huge heads compared to their bodies. Their brains are soft, like gelatin, and float in fluid. When shaken violently, the head whips back and forth fast. The brain slams against the hard skull over and over. This violent motion tears bridging veins, causing bleeding around the brain, subdural hematoma, and swells the tissue. Shearing forces rip nerve axons and blood vessels. This leads to bruising, oxygen loss, and permanent cell death. Even 5 to 10 seconds of shaking can cause blindness, seizures, paralysis, or death. 1 in 4 babies die. Survivors often face
तो उसके अणु स्वाद कलिकाओं से जुड़ जाते हैं। फिर ये रिसेप्टर तुरंत दिमाग को सिग्नल भेजते हैं और हमें स्वाद महसूस होता है। अगर आपकी नाक बंद हो तो स्वाद भी कम महसूस होता है, क्योंकि खुशबू भी स्वाद में मदद करती है। इसका मतलब स्वाद सिर्फ जीभ का काम नहीं है, दिमाग भी इसमें शामिल है।
हर इंसान की स्वाद कलिकाएं अलग होती हैं, इसलिए सबका स्वाद भी अलग होता है।
अब बताइए, आपका पसंदीदा स्वाद कौन सा है? नीचे कमेंट करें और ऐसे ही साइंस फैक्ट्स के लिए चैनल को लाइक और सब्सक्राइब करें।
This 3D animation provides a detailed view of the chest anatomy, starting with the rib cage and lungs. As we zoom in, the heart is highlighted showing vest. Labels identify key structures for educational clarity. This is a 3D view of the human heart at rest. The heart's slow, rhythmic pumping circulates blood through the chambers and valves. Red streams show oxygenated blood. This cycle is vital for delivering oxygen and nutrients to the body. Starting to jog, the body responds immediately. Zooming into the heart, its contractions quicken. Blood flow speeds up, delivering more oxygen to meet the increased demand. As the lungs expand, oxygen is drawn into tiny air sacs called alveoli. Here, oxygen diffuses into the blood through capillaries binding to red blood cells. The heart pumps rapidly, increasing the heart rate. Arteries and veins glow, showing accelerated blood flow. This highlights the body's increased cardiac output. After exertion, the body slows down and the heart rate gradually decreases. As we zoom in, we see the heart's rhythm transition to a resting state. The beats become less intense, returning to a normal, resting rhythm.
क्या आपने कभी सोचा है, जब हम पानी में बर्फ डालते हैं, तो वो नीचे क्यों नहीं डूबती? बारिश नहीं, विज्ञान। इस सवाल का जवाब छुपा है एक छोटे से शब्द में, घनत्व, यानी डेंसिटी। घनत्व का मतलब है किसी चीज के अंदर कितना पदार्थ भरा हुआ है। जितना ज्यादा भरा हुआ, उतना ज्यादा घनत्व। अब सवाल है, क्या बर्फ का घनत्व पानी से कम है या ज्यादा? असल में बर्फ का घनत्व पानी से कम होता है, इसलिए वो डूबती नहीं, तैरती है। जब पानी जमता है तो उसके अणु यानी मॉलिक्यूल्स फैल जाते हैं, उनके बीच जगह बढ़ जाती है। जगह बढ़ने से आयतन बढ़ जाता है, लेकिन द्रव्यमान वही रहता है, इसीलिए घनत्व कम हो जाता है। कम घनत्व वाली चीज ज्यादा घनत्व वाली चीज पर तैरती है, यही विज्ञान का नियम है। इसी वजह से झीलों में ऊपर बर्फ जमती है, लेकिन नीचे पानी तरल रहता है, जिससे मछलियां जिंदा रहती हैं।
तो अगली बार जब आप ठंडा पानी पिए, याद रखिए बर्फ तैरती है क्योंकि उसका घनत्व कम होता है। विज्ञान हर जगह है।
If you collected all of the spit you produced during your lifetime, most people would think it would only be a few gallons.
But you actually produce over a liter in just one day.
Love the video? Then like this video, subscribe for weekly wow moments, hit the bell, and share it everywhere. Let's spread the science love.
Babies cry a lot, but shaking one in anger can cause lifelong brain damage in seconds. Here's why it's so dangerous. Babies have weak neck muscles and huge heads compared to their bodies. Their brains are soft, like gelatin, and float in fluid.
When shaken violently, the head whips back and forth fast. The brain slams against the hard skull over and over. This violent motion tears bridging veins, causing bleeding around the brain, subdural hematoma, and swells the tissue. Shearing forces rip nerve axons and blood vessels. This leads to bruising, oxygen loss, and permanent cell death. Even 5 to 10 seconds of shaking can cause blindness, seizures, paralysis, or death. 1 in 4 babies die. Survivors often face lifelong disabilities. If you collected all the sweat your body produces in a lifetime, most people think it'd be just a few buckets. But you actually produce 1 to 2 liters every single day to cool you down. Over a lifetime, that's thousands of gallons. Enough? Milk filled dozens of bathtubs, or even a whole pool like this. Love the video? Then like this video, subscribe for weekly wow moments, hit the bell, and share it everywhere. Let's spread the science love. As we take a bite, the food enters our mouth. Teeth chew, and saliva, rich in enzymes, starts breaking it down.
Science love. As we take a bite, the food enters our mouth.
The chewed food moves through the esophagus, a muscular tube, and enters the stomach. In the stomach, strong acids and enzymes further break down the food into a semi-liquid form called chyme. Next, chyme moves into the small intestine, where most nutrients are absorbed with help from bile and pancreatic enzymes.
The remaining waste passes into the large intestine, where water is absorbed, and the leftover material forms stool.
Finally, the stool moves to the rectum and is eliminated, completing the digestive journey. Think all that earwax is just some random gunk? Most people think they only make a tiny bit. Your ears produce about 0.5 gram to 1 gram of earwax every day. It's a mix of sweat, oils, and dead skin cells to trap dust and germs. Over a lifetime, that adds up to 1 to 2 pounds of earwax. Enough to make a whole stick of butter or fill a small tub like this. Mind blown? Why does fire burn everywhere from Diwali lamps to car engines? It's combustion, fuel plus oxygen plus heat energy. Chemical reactions power our world, but they also cause harm. Rapid reactions like fireworks, slow rusting, complete clean burns, and incomplete smoky pollution. These reactions drive energy, but cause wildfires, smog, and global warming. Quick quiz. Name the fire triangle parts. Fuel, oxygen, heat. Why does smoke happen? Incomplete combustion. Global examples, safety tips, and more. Watch the full explainer now. Like and sub for epic science breakdowns. Have you ever caught yourself lost in thought, drifting off during your day? That's your brain's default mode network at play. It's a network of brain regions that activate when we're not focusing on tasks, when we daydream, or just let our mind wander. Researchers found it links our past experiences, future plans, and spontaneous thoughts. This connection helps us understand how the mind weaves together memories and ideas. When we daydream, this network helps us process emotions, make connections, and even spark creativity. In fact, some of history's greatest ideas came when the thinker's mind was at rest, wandering. The default mode network can also help you reflect on yourself, your feelings, goals, and even what matters most to you. Studies show that people who regularly let their mind wander are often more creative and better problem solvers. This network is active when we're idle, whether we're gazing out the window or just lying in bed before sleep.
Next time you pause, let your mind wander. It's a powerful tool your brain uses to grow. So, embrace those quiet moments. Your imagination and insight might be waiting there for you.
From daydreams to deep reflection, the default mode network quietly shapes your inner world. Stay curious, stay open. Your mind's wandering is a vital journey of self-discovery. Sound waves enter the ear canal and travel inward. They strike the eardrum, causing it to vibrate. These vibrations are passed to the middle ear. The vibrating eardrum pushes the hammer bone. The hammer rocks the anvil bone. The anvil pushes the stirrup bone. Together, they amplify the sound vibration. This is the cochlea, a fluid-filled organ shaped like a snail shell. Sound vibrations from the stirrup bone create ripples in the fluid. These waves travel through the cochlea, allowing us to hear. Within the organ of Corti, thousands of microscopic hair cells wave in fluid, like grass in the wind. As they bend, they generate bright blue sparks. This is how mechanical vibrations become the electrical signals our brain interprets as sound. Sound signals travel up the auditory nerve. They plug into the brain, causing it to glow and pulse with light. This is how the mind processes what we hear. Welcome to the mind-blowing journey of how your body makes urine. In the kidneys, filtration and secretion create a fluid, which flows down the ureters. Reabsorption happens along the way, and the bladder stores the final product. Your kidneys filter 180 liters of blood every day. Inside each one, over 1 million tiny nephron superfilters. Let's zoom in and see how urine is actually made. Step 1. Glomerular filtration. High pressure forces water, salts, glucose, and waste out of blood into the nephron, but keeps blood cells and proteins safely inside. Boom! That's your pre-urine filtrate. Step 2 begins reabsorption. In the proximal tubule, your body grabs back almost all glucose, amino acids, and most water salts. Nothing wasted. Super efficient recycling. The loop of Henle is genius. It builds a salt gradient in the kidney medulla. This lets your body concentrate urine later, saving water when you're dehydrated. Nature's desalination plant. Secretion adds the final touches. Extra wastes, H+ ions, and drugs get pumped into the tubule. pH and potassium levels, fine-tuned here for perfect balance. Last step, water conservation in the collecting duct. ADH hormone decides how much water to keep, turning dilute filtrate into concentrated urine. Result? Just 1 to 2 liters of urine per day. From blood to bladder, that's how urine is formed. Kidneys keep you balanced and healthy. Incredible, right? Drop a kund if you learn something new.
आज हम समझेंगे मेल कंप्लीट एनाटॉमी, शरीर की पूरी संरचना सिस्टम दर सिस्टम बिल्कुल क्लियर और साइंटिफिक तरीके से। सबसे पहले स्केलेटल सिस्टम। 206 हड्डियां शरीर को संरचना और सपोर्ट देती हैं। मस्कुलर सिस्टम शरीर को मूवमेंट देता है। 600 से अधिक मांसपेशियां मिलकर हर हरकत संभव बनाती हैं। नर्वस सिस्टम शरीर का कंट्रोल सेंटर, दिमाग और नसें हर सिग्नल को नियंत्रित करती हैं। सर्कुलेटरी सिस्टम दिल और रक्त वाहिकाओं से बना है जो ऑक्सीजन पूरे शरीर में पहुंचाता है। रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम फेफड़े हवा से ऑक्सीजन लेकर शरीर को ऊर्जा देते हैं। डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम भोजन को ऊर्जा में बदलता है, मुंह से पेट और आंतों तक की पूरी प्रक्रिया। मेल रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम हार्मोन और प्रजनन से जुड़ा है, जिसमें टेस्टिस और संबंधित अंग शामिल हैं। एंडोक्राइन सिस्टम हार्मोन रिलीज करता है जो विकास, ऊर्जा और व्यवहार को नियंत्रित करते हैं। यह था मेल कंप्लीट एनाटॉमी। अगर आप मेडिकल या साइंस स्टूडेंट हैं तो कमेंट में एनाटॉमी लिखें।
This is the pelvic region, housing the bladder, reproductive organs, and rectum. The bladder stores urine, while the rectum holds waste before elimination, supporting functions like reproduction and hormonal balance. This model shows the bladder's position relative to the rectum and reproductive organs. As the bladder fills, its muscular walls expand to store urine. The rectum and reproductive organs are closely integrated in the pelvic floor. Zooming in on the testes, we see the seminiferous tubules where spermatogenesis occurs. Sperm cells form in the tubules, then mature and move towards the center. Their tails propel them forward through the network. Sperm cells travel from the reproductive organs into the epididymis. The coiled tube is highlighted as the cells mature. A glowing effect visualizes the maturation process. The cells complete their journey, now fully mature. The vas deferens pathway extends from the reproductive organs. Sperm travel upward through this tube. Arrows show the direction toward the urethra. The prostate gland and seminal vesicles are highlighted. These glands produce fluids that mix with sperm. The glowing streams illustrate fluid secretion, the mix with reproductive system. This forms the ejaculate, vital for reproduction. The bulbourethral gland releases a clear fluid. This fluid travels through the reproductive organs, providing lubrication. Finally, this forms part of the semen, a mixture of fluids and sperm. What if I told you the reason you don't look exactly like your brother or sister comes down to a microscopic event inside your cells? Today, we're breaking down meiosis, the biological process that creates genetic diversity. Meiosis is a special type of cell division that produces gametes, sperm in males and eggs in females. It reduces chromosome number by half and creates genetic variation.
Before meiosis begins, DNA replicates. Each chromosome duplicates into 2 identical sister chromatids.
Prophase 1 is the longest and most complex phase. Homologous chromosomes pair in a process called synapsis. Together they form this crossing over. This is recombination. Pause and think. This is where your uniqueness begins.
Homologous pairs align randomly at the equator. This is independent assortment. Spindle fibers pull homologous chromosomes apart, but sister chromatids stay together. Two haploid cells are formed. Meiosis II resembles mitosis, but there is no DNA replication this time. Prophase 2, spindle formation again. Chromosomes or chromatids separate. Telophase 2, 4 genetically unique haploid cells form. This is why siblings differ. This is why evolution happens. Without meiosis, genetic diversity would not exist. Mitosis produces 2 genetically identical cells for growth and repair. Meiosis creates 4 unique haploid cells for sexual reproduction. This quick comparison shows how these processes shape life's diversity.
This is meiosis, where genetic material is exchanged in a process called crossing over. This creates genetic diversity key to evolution. To understand meiosis clearly, hit like and subscribe. Comment crossing over if you made it till the end.
In every living organism, there is a process that creates uniqueness, a process that makes you completely different from anyone else. This process is called meiosis. Before division begins, DNA replicates. One chromosome from the mother, one from the father, now duplicated into identical sister chromatids. Prophase 1 begins. Homologous chromosomes find each other, pairing in a precise alignment called synapsis. Together, they form a tetrad. Then something extraordinary happens. Crossing over, DNA segments exchange between chromosomes. Recombination begins. The nuclear membrane dissolves. Spindle fibers form. Homologous pairs align at the equator in random orientation. Spindle fibers pull the homologous chromosomes apart, but sister chromatids remain together.
two haploid cells form. Each contains half the genetic material, but each chromosome still has two chromatids. Without replicating DNA again, meiosis II begins. The process resembles mitosis, but the outcome is far more powerful. Now, sister chromatids finally separate, becoming individual chromosomes.
This is why siblings differ. This is why evolution is possible. This is genetic diversity. The skeleton is divided into the axial and appendicular parts. The axial skeleton includes the skull, vertebral column, and rib cage. The appendicular skeleton includes the limbs and shoulder and pelvic girdles.